I don't want them to rework Moji. The kid is really fun. She just needs some extra help right now. Well, that aged well. So, here's the deal. I had initially planned on releasing this video after the PTS and giving my thoughts about that, but the day that I had planned to record the audio, they revealed the changes that would be going into live, which invalidated almost my entire script. I had tried to just incorporate the changes made into that script, but it didn't work out, so I decided to just wait until the live servers dropped, although they've been dropping a bit too literally. So that brings us to now. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked the rework. I had been in a constant state of pessimism, but holding out to let them cook, and that feeling has been a roller coaster. Being one of the 15 Moji mates, I was ready to be hyper-critical of the rework, and I'm glad to say that's pretty solid overall. Mostly. So, I'm going to split this into two parts. My thoughts on support Moji, which is when you play her as an actual healer, and flank Moji, which is when you play her with Jubilation. But before that, I need to talk about the biggest problem. If you've ever dabbled in the art of Moji, you should know about bunny hopping. Previously, if you cancelled Scamper early, you could continuously jump to keep the momentum for longer than you would have before. This was completely removed on the PTS, and afterwards they said they brought it back, which they did. The budget version. You can still technically bunny hop, but it's nowhere near as good as before. I'm no Mewtwo, but I could consistently bunny hop at least 5 or 6 times before. Now I can get 3 at best, and that's with Boop at least level 3. If you don't run Boop, then you're lucky to even get 1. If they really can't make bunny hopping work with new Scamper, or they feel it would make Scamper too powerful, then I think they should just revert Scamper back to before the update. New Scamper may be better, but bunny hopping was part of what made Moji, Moji. Hashtag bring back bunny hop. Do we even use those anymore? I don't know. So, healer Moji. I still need to test it more, but it's pretty fun. I've always enjoyed Combat Magic Pip and Spirit Domain Grok, and Moji heals the same way those talents do, shooting teammates. Magic Shield is also pretty good for support Moji specifically. The only real problem with the support playstyle that I found is that you'll barely get any out of combat healing since you need to shoot to heal your team. This is mostly remedied by the fact that you can get affected by the AoE healing, though it can still be a little bit scuffed sometimes. Overall though, it's a pretty fun playstyle. I'm going to preface this by saying that it's likely that I just need more time to adjust to the new changes, but I'll list my gripes anyways. Using the talent Jubilation makes Moji a lot more similar to how she was before. The only difference other than her abilities is that she does 800 damage on max marks instead of 1000, which is still pretty good. You can 3-tap most squishies assuming minimal healing and damage reduction, so it's still very viable to flank with on the damage side of things. You also have solid poke too, with the base spit damage buff. The issue I have with it though isn't her damage, it's her sustain. When they reworked her cards, they pretty much removed most of the sustain from them. Symbiotic? Reworked. Cozy? Scales too low. Greater good? You weren't using that anyways. Point is, all her sustain was in her cards and Magic Barrier. Her only decent sustain card now is Scurry, along with Scoot and Peppy giving you damage reduction and health respectively. You give yourself 1000 shield health, with 600 being applied as a burst, which is really good. But you can be killed through it by anyone with high enough DPS, and you aren't CC immune anymore either, which sucks. You also can't troll ulting Drogos with it anymore, which is pretty sad. Overall, I'm okay with the rework. I still don't like it as much as previous Moji, but I'm mostly content with it. Here's a list of changes that I'd make though. Keep in mind that I'm mostly talking in the context of flank Moji here, rather than support Moji. First off, bring back Bunny Hop. You probably saw that one coming. Secondly, add back the animation cancel on the ultimate. I'd also increase the scaling of Cozy to 8 or 10 health per level to bring it more in line with how it used to be. Yes, it now applies to your whole team potentially, but it also gets affected by Cauterize, so I think it's a pretty fair trade-off. Now, Magic Shield. Ideally, they'd bring back Magic Barrier, still giving the shield to allies in range potentially, but if they don't want to do that, then I think they should make Moji CC immune while casting. That way it can at least be used a bit more for escape, which would help the overall gameplay loop. Other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with the rework. Happy? No. Accepting? Yes. To finish this off, I want to give a few tips that have been useful in my experience. These won't be too deep and may not be entirely accurate, but I hope they'll at least be somewhat useful. First off, talents. Spitshine has been more consistent for me than Realm Runner for healing, though Realm Runner isn't bad. Use it if you want. If you want to flank, then use Jubilation. It's not even a contest, it's the talent that returns Moji to mostly her old self. And now, as much as we both like to, don't use Jubilation if you're a solo support. Your spray and shield are not enough to support your team. I'm sorry. Now, cards. Here's my current build for both flanking and healing. The healing build may not be the best, but I haven't tested that as much as I have flank Moji. For the cards themselves, Boop at level 3 is a must for bunny hopping at all. If you aren't confident in your ability to bunny hop, then don't worry about this card. Fluffy is your standard HP card, and at max level can bring you up to 2650 base health, which is pretty good. None of the spit cards are too good. Nature's Blessing is probably the best of them, but it can cause your allies to move too far away to be able to heal them effectively in some situations. For flanking, the best cards are probably Boop, if you can bunny hop, Scurry for self-sustain, Scoot, Glimmer, and Fluffy, with Peppy and Symbiotic as filler cards. For healing, the best cards are probably Symbiotic, Glimmer, Harmonious, Fluffy, and Scoot. Nature's Blessing might be good, but I haven't tested it enough. The cards you should always avoid are Dense Woods, Will-O-the-Wisp, Wobbles, Shimmering, Cozy, and Morning Breath. Greater Good is also pretty bad in my opinion, but I can maybe see it working. In terms of actual gameplay, the big thing is sparkle management. You can be fairly generous with it, but be conscious of when you're running low. Magic Shield is best used either before a fight or in the mid-fight if you can get behind a corner. You can try and use it as an escape tool, but be careful of using it like Magic Barrier because it will not work out very well. When using your ultimate as healer Moji, you should only use it offensively if you're confident you can confirm the kill. If not, use it to save yourself from getting dove. As flank Moji, you're now locked out of all other abilities while casting it, so if you're like me and are used to the animation cancel, then be wary of that. You can cast Magic Shield before you eat the cookie or scamper into the cookie however still, so otherwise use it the same way as before. Well, that's about all I got. Like I said, I'm not thrilled with the rework, but I'm content with it. Anyways, if you enjoyed, cool. Glad I can make your day at least a little bit better. Bye.